Hello, and welcome back to the Formal Review. Today, we'll be talking about the 2020 film, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Now sit back, maybe grab a drink, and let's talk about this movie.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Formal Review. This is Season 3, Episode 41, and I thank you all for tuning in once again. So as I've said in past episodes, watching new movies has been really difficult for me, but there are specific films that I do want to watch, and that's because of the cast or the director, or a combination of the two things. And I usually notice this as soon as I see the trailer for it. And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was one of those films. Now, I'm also going to be going into a few updates to my movie collection, so stay tuned. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. Like, how do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps that people like to listen on? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every single one of those questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing my podcast. And best of all, it's absolutely 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with some great sponsors. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. And I can't wait to hear your podcast. So, updates to my movie collection. There were none. So, let's get right into the movie at hand. So, let's sit back, relax, grab your drinks, and let's discuss the movie. So Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is a 2020 American drama film directed by George C. Wolfe and written by Ruben Santiago Hudson based on the play of the same name by August Wilson. It is produced by Denzel Washington and stars Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman in his final film appearance, with Glenn Turman, Coleman Domingo, and Michael Potts also in supporting roles. Now, before I go any further, I do want to say there's a slight spoiler warning for this. If you haven't seen the movie, I will limit the spoilers, but it will talk about some of the plot. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you, at least I don't think I am. If you're worried, I would suggest go watch the film and then come back and then hear what I have to say about it so you fully understand everything. But if you don't care about that, keep listening. Also, I talk about this at the end, but the data shows that most people skip over that part. So I do want to reiterate the importance of leaving reviews on your favorite podcast service, because those reviews really help me grow and improve. A lot of you have talked to me offline, but I do really appreciate the reviews that already are out there. If everyone could just continue doing that, or letting me know any way that you think that I could grow and make this more entertaining, feel free, and I'll look at them and I'll grow as such. Now, like I said in the intro, I was excited for this movie, but let's get some background into the play first. So it is a 1982 play that chronicles the 20th century African American experience. It's set in Chicago in the 1920s and deals with the issues of race, art, religion, and the historic exploitation of black recording artists by white producers. The play's title comes from Ma Rainey's song of the same name, which refers to the Black Bottom dance. It is a fictional account of the recording of the song in December of 1927. So many audiences were introduced to August Wilson's work several years ago when Fences was brought to the screen. The movie was directed, produced, and starred Denzel Washington and also again Viola Davis. Now, I really liked that movie. The acting was great, but I think that it did suffer from issues dealing with the movie's source being a play, and that was one of my concerns about this movie going in. But again, let's go back a little bit and talk about who Ma Rainey was. So she was a well-known blues singer in the 1920s, and she began performing at a talent show in Columbus, Georgia when she was about 12 to 14 years old. She was first a member of the First African Baptist Church, and she began performing in black minstrel shows. She then claimed that she was first exposed to the blues music around 1902 and became known as Ma Rainey after her marriage to Will Rainey in 1904. They toured with the the Rabbit-Foot Minstrels and later formed their own groups. Her first recording was made in 1923, and in the next 5 years she made over 100 recordings, including 1923 Bull Weevil Blues, 1923 Moonshine Blues, 1924 CC Rider Blues, 1927 Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and 1927's Soon This Morning. She was known for her powerful vocal abilities, energetic disposition, majestic phrasing, and a moaning style of singing. Her qualities are very present and most evident in her early recordings, and she was inducted into the Blues Foundation's Hall of Fame in 1983 and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990. In 1994, the U.S. Postal Service issued a 29-cent commemorative postage stamp honoring her. In 2004, her song CC Rider Blues was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame and was added to the National Recording Registry by the National Recording Preservation Board of the Library of Congress. The play that August Rosenwelt was published in the early 1980s and premiered at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center. Its Broadway debut was at the Court Theater in 1984, and it won a New York Drama Critics Circle Award and garnered a Tony Award nomination for Best Play. Teresa Merritt and Whoopi Goldberg starred as Rainey in the original and revival Broadway productions, respectively. Additionally, Monique played Rainey in the 2015 HBO television film Bessie, about the life of Bessie Smith, for which she gained a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited Series or Movie nomination. So similar to the play, the film's story centers around a group of musicians in Chicago recording studio in the 1920s. The band is about to make a new album. Ma Rainey, played by Viola Davis, has a voice and personality that match her fiery personality and also her tone that she takes with the management as well as her band. She's willing to show up late just because she knows that she is the best person in the room. She doesn't need to show up on time, and in a time period where African American artists are really kind of pushed to the side, and especially an African American woman artist is pushed to the side, this personality is honestly groundbreaking, especially during the 1920s. So her personality is contrasted with the young and up and coming Levy, who's played by Bozeman, who has a lot of ambition, but his new age look on life is contrasted with Ma's kind of old fashioned tone, and he wants to start his own band. He has his own songs. So over the course of the few hours in this movie, you get some good music, but tensions also come together because of this clash of views on the world and their view on music. So when a movie is based on a play, one thing that must exist in the film is a great performance. And the center of all of this in this film is Chadwick Boseman. This is his final on-screen role, as I mentioned, after his shocking passing from pancreatic cancer early this year. And frankly, it's really hard to watch such an amazing performance and not feel sad when you think about what more he could have done. After playing a list of real-life heroes, Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and James Brown, and the fictional hero King T'Challa, his final performance being Levy is almost a tragic but somewhat happy story because you still see such an amazing job, but it's tragic even within the story. And once again, with all of his performances, he brings this smile and honestly a joyful presence to the screen that really shows his charm as a human being. And honestly, his passing came too soon, and this role, frankly, is a tribute to his talent. So only slightly second to Boseman is Davis as Ma. Almost with every role that she does, Davis brings a force and gravity to her dialogue. She has a physicality that is really contrasted to the character's insecurity, and she's also absolutely captivating and honestly showing how inspirational Ma was for the time and also could be for future generations. Viola Davis put a lot of work into this. She gained a lot of weight for this role, and then for her next role she lost the same amount of weight, and I think that should be looked at as well because she put a lot of effort into this role, and I think frankly she is amazing in it. So everyone else in the film is good, but there really wasn't anyone who stands out more than the two that I already mentioned. They are fine. They do the best that they can do with the small bits that they have, but I wouldn't say that they are so fantastic, but they do have some good scenes between them. So one of the biggest issues that I have when it comes adapting plays to film is that it feels exactly like that. The scenes can jump back and forth with little to no reason why, and this can take away from the film. I will say that director Wolf is, for the most part, able to keep this film flowing. However, it really can't be denied that this story would be better as a play. It only takes takes place over a few hours, but the film can feel like you're watching a film over a few days with its fairly short 94-minute runtime. And again, this is something similar that Wilson's other adaptation, Fences, had as well. I think that the history of white exploitation of African American culture is now well documented, and Wilson's play is really canon of that, and it's criticizing that aspect of society and brings it to the front. In bringing Wilson's voice to a wider audience, I do think that this is a good idea in adapting his plays to film. However, that does have issues with it. It's not always going to be a worthwhile rewatch, because frankly, watching this again would be draining for me. Now, if it was for educational purposes to show a story, or if somebody was doing a report on August Wilson, this is a decent adaptation, and for that reason I'd rewatch it. I think that it is a very, very good composition, and frankly has really, really great performances, and for its performances alone, it's a worthwhile movie. It's also fairly faithful to the play from what I'm reading, and telling the tales of the African American experience in America, which again is one of Wilson's most important qualities. And I think that the film is a great representation of that. So I would say it's worth your watch. I don't know about a rewatch. I would love to know what you think. What do you think of this film? And perhaps, what do you think of Fences? Do you think that we should keep doing this? Or do you think that plays being adapted into film doesn't always work? Let me know. Hit me up on social media. The Formal Review is on Facebook, Twitter, and the Gram. I post many things, including trailer reactions, so go check those out. The handle is all the same. It's at The Formal Review. Feel free to also check out backseatdirectors.com, where I work with a big team to put out movie reviews and also editorials. Again, that's backseatdirectors.com. Please also subscribe to The Formal Review. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're now on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Honestly, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, we have our content there. Also, I'm always wanting to grow and improve, so please leave a review and what you want to hear, because I really do this for you all. I see the numbers, and I really appreciate everyone supporting me and talking to me about movies, because frankly, that's what it's all about. And for anyone who has supported me on a financial basis, thank you again. And if you want to help support on a financial basis, please go to anchor.fm/the-formal-review and click support this podcast. And honestly, any donation is appreciated. Thank you all again for tuning in. And until next time, wear your mask, wash your hands, stay safe, and take care, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Formal Review. Cheers, and we'll see you next time.